If you're heading into Vancouver before or after a cruise, you're in luck. There is so much to see, do, and eat in the beautiful city of Vancouver, and I will share it all. At the same time, I'm also going to share with you some of the things that you absolutely need to know for when you are cruising out of Vancouver. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, we recently did an Alaska cruise that started and ended in the beautiful port city of Vancouver. We absolutely loved it, and what I've done is I've really taken notes about all of the best things to do, and I am going to share that with you. At the same time, I'll also share with you some of the best restaurants that you may want to try, some of the best foods, and a few tips and tricks that you'll want to know along the way. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Now, before we talk about what to do in Vancouver, you might be wondering where to stay in Vancouver. Now, Vancouver is a very walkable city, and the cruise port is actually in a great location where you can see and do so much. Now, the hotel that we stayed in was the Pan Pacific. Now, you probably cannot find a better location than this hotel. It's actually attached to Canada Place, which is a cruise terminal, so you get a view of those cruise ships all the time, and of course, you're in close proximity on embarkation day. Now, while the Pan Pacific is a fantastic hotel, we were even able to leave our luggage with them, and they were able to transport it directly to the cruise terminal. But there are many other hotels in the vicinity, and those are good locations as well. Now, we visited Vancouver in early May, and we were pretty lucky with the weather when we first got there. We got some beautiful sunny and warm days. However, as is typical, it did start to rain for a couple of days as well. So that is something to note when you are in Vancouver. Make sure that you do have a poncho or a rain jacket or an umbrella just in case. Now, Vancouver is a very walkable city, and there are some things that you can see right near the cruise terminal. As a matter of fact, the area right near the cruise terminal, you'll have this incredible view of seaplanes that are coming down. You'll see Grouse Mountain. There are some restaurants in the area. I will share a little bit more about restaurants a little bit later on in the video, but something that I like to do is try to take a tour so that I can see a little bit more of the city and to go out to areas that are outside of that immediate vicinity. Now, right in the area, inside and outside of Canada Place, you're going to have tourist booths and information, and you can pick up some pamphlets of some different places that you might want to see, and you can pick up some tours there as well as a hop-on, hop-off bus. Now, something that we did is we did book a tour with Landsea Tours. Now, this video is not sponsored by them, but we did visit many of these places with them. Just to let you know, you can definitely visit these places on your own as well. So what should you see and do when you're in Vancouver? Well, the first thing you should do is head over to Stanley Park. It's an absolutely beautiful park. Now, you could walk there from the cruise terminal, but it would be quite a far away. So you might want to take a taxi or Uber or tour like we did. Now, what we did is we had a little stop while we were in Stanley Park at the totem pole section. This was very interesting. Each totem pole really does have its own story. Now, as well, while you're going through Stanley Park, you can see the Rose Garden. You could see some of the beaches. There's English Bay Beach and a couple of other beaches. Now, you'll also pass by this statue. It really looks like that Little Mermaid statue that's quite famous, but instead this statue is called Girl in a Wetsuit. Now you have a little lookout where you could see Lionsgate Bridge. You'll also see the famous Hollow Tree. Now, if you're in Vancouver for a few days and you want to spend a little more time in Stanley Park, you can go as well to the aquarium. Now, the aquarium is actually a rehabilitation center for marine life. Now, as much as I enjoyed Stanley Park, there was one thing that we did during this tour that was something I was a little bit afraid of, but we did, and I'm so happy we did. So next up, we headed over to Granville Island. What a fun place this is. Now, Granville Island is actually an industrial area that has been completely remade into really a fun, eclectic public market, an area that you can buy handicrafts and different art. And there are really a lot of local merchants that are selling food as well as products. It's definitely worth spending some time there. Now, we had about an hour or so during our tour, which was just perfect for walking around and being able to stop and have something to eat. Now, by the way, there are tons of samples from pickles to Nanaimo bars, so definitely make sure that you do stop, get some samples, perhaps pick up a little gift for home. Now, we ate at a wonderful place. It was called Kaiser Wreck, and basically what we had was we had a schnitzel sandwich. I can tell you these are absolutely shareable, and we had some pierogies with sour cream as well. These are absolutely the best pierogies I have ever had. I highly recommend. Now, after we had those pierogies, I feel like this was really almost like the eating tour that we had, but we did stop in at Lee's Donuts, and of course we had some delicious donuts and some coffee. Yaletown. Now, Yaletown is an area that's only about 10 minutes walk away from the cruise terminal, so you really could go on your own if you like, or you can do that as part of a tour. Now, we didn't actually stop in, but you do have the Railway Museum that you could visit there. You also have Chinatown, and the interesting thing is there is this beautiful Chinese garden. I do believe that it is only open certain hours or maybe by appointment. Now, I do have a little bit of a watch out, and this is if you do walk on your own. It's a little bit of a word of caution. It is safe to walk in Vancouver. However, like a lot of big cities, there is a little bit of a problem with homeless and drug use. So this just is something to be aware of. The Vancouver Lookout. Now, I was so glad that we did this as one of the earlier things that we did during our tour. We went up a glass elevator in a building, 533 feet. It was really high. That being said, even though I'm a bit of a chicken, I was okay with it. So I think that you will be too. There's a 360-degree view from up there. It was absolutely incredible to see all of the different districts in Vancouver. We were able to see the cruise terminal, and of course we were able to see many of the other neighborhoods. It was very interesting and an incredible view. Gastown. Now, it's very easy to walk over to Gastown. It really is an area that's about 4 blocks wide, so if you want to eat there, if you want to shop a little bit, you can definitely do that. And something that you'll want to do is check out the Gastown steam clock. This is one of the oldest steam clocks in the world, although I think it was built in 1977. It does let off steam every hour. Now, when I researched what to do in Vancouver, there was one part of the tour that I was a little bit, being honest, I was a little bit unsure of. But it did seem like it was probably one of the most exciting things that we could do in Vancouver, and I'm so happy we did. That was the Capilano Suspension Bridge. Now, just to let you know, the Capilano Suspension Bridge and Park is over 130 years old, and while there is the suspension bridge, there really is so much more and to see in this really incredible nature park. Now, the Capilano Suspension Bridge is over 230 feet above the river, and it's 450 feet across. Now, you might be wondering, does it feel safe and does it sway? So yes, it feels safe, but yes, it also sways a little bit. So that's just a reality. However, it did really feel quite safe. Now, once you get across the suspension bridge, there are also other things that you can see and do. That includes the treetop adventure, and honestly, once you've done the suspension bridge, you can do the treetops as well. Really, really interesting. You can go across the treetops. I think there are 7 bridges altogether. An incredible view from there. As well, you have also these little nature talks. You can learn about otters and different insects and the fauna that is all within this park. Now, if you're not too afraid of heights, and let's face it, you've done the other things already, then you might want to go along Cliff Walk as well. This is platforms or like little bridges that are really set alongside and attached to the actual cliff. I will admit, my stomach did turn a little bit as I looked down, but I am still glad that I did it. Now, when you finish all of this, you might be hungry, so you can get something to eat like a poutine. I will say that the poutine in Vancouver is not the same as the poutine in Quebec, but it is still something good to try while you're in Vancouver. You can also get some coffee, you can get some ice cream or gelato, including maple flavors, and you can, of course, shop for different maple souvenirs. Now, at the end of our 6-hour tour, Landsea Tours did drop us off at our hotel. They picked us up at our hotel, which was nice too, but they also do have tours for debarkation day that will bring people to the airport, and for embarkation day as well. We did really enjoy our time with them. Now, when it came to the food and restaurants in Vancouver, I do have some recommendations of places that we tried and really enjoyed. One of them was Jam Cafe. So if you were there overnight and you were able to have breakfast at Jam Cafe, either on embarkation day morning or the day before, definitely do so. Now, I don't think that they take any reservations, but it is worth going there early, even if you have to line up. We lined up in the rain. It was so delicious. The food is unique. We had, I think it was some sort of fried chicken, eggs Benedict, very unique, and peanut butter maple waffles, absolutely delicious. Now, a restaurant that is also in the cruise terminal area, and it is a bit of a chain restaurant, I think, but it was really, really great, is Cactus Cafe that is in Coal Harbour. So that location is perfect. While we were eating our dinner, which was very good, we were able to see seaplanes coming in. It was an incredible view. The food was delicious. I had chicken lettuce wraps that were great. I think my husband and son had steak. Really good restaurant I can recommend. Now, Vancouver really does have an incredible food scene, especially when it comes to a lot of international foods. One of the restaurants that we went to was Banana Leaf. It's a Malaysian restaurant. It was so good, including the banana fried ice cream. Oh my goodness, it was just incredible. But the entire meal was really good, and I do recommend it. Now, another restaurant you might want to check out, especially for a casual lunch, is La Taqueria. This is a taco shop. It's definitely a popular hotspot, and yes, it is all within walking distance of the cruise terminal. Now, here are a few tips and tricks that you need to know when you're going to be visiting Vancouver. So firstly, Vancouver is a Canadian city, so it's a good idea to have some Canadian cash with you. And of course, you can use your credit card in any of the stores, but if you do want to tip anybody or if you do want to use cash, you should probably get that out before you go, because you will have a better exchange rate than if you use your US dollars. Now, something else that you should know is that the people in Vancouver are, just like all Canadians, really very friendly. But something that is pointed out in many places in Vancouver is that the Canada geese are not very friendly, so do keep your distance. Now, something that's going to seem a little bit random, but you should probably know about, is at 9 o'clock p.m. there is something called the 9 o'clock gun, which is basically this cannon that is going to be, well, shot at 9 o'clock p.m. and you will hear this sound resonating from any of the restaurants or as you're walking around in Vancouver, even on the seawall. Now, the 9 o'clock cannon has apparently been shot for over 100 years, so this is part of a tradition in Vancouver. The Vancouver Cruise Terminal and embarking on your cruise. Now, the cruise terminal in Vancouver, it's absolutely beautiful, but something that you should know is it can take a little bit more time to embark in Vancouver than perhaps some other destinations. We did find that it took us about an hour and a half to embark on our cruise ship, and even debarkation was a little bit hectic as well. Now, if you're going on an Alaskan cruise and are interested in seeing more about embarkation as well as the entire Alaska cruise, I will leave that video next, all about our 7-day Alaska cruise. Please let me know if you have any questions about Vancouver, what there is to see, do. The tour that we did use was called Landsea Tours. I can definitely recommend them. We had an absolutely great time, but as I mentioned, this video was not sponsored by them. Now, I hope that you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.